Should you buy the SpaceX IPO? That IPO is coming out June 12th. Should you buy it or not? I'm going to tell you the reasons that you should consider definitely buying it. Also going to give you some information so that you understand the business better, so that you can walk away from this really short video with a better understanding if the SpaceX IPO is for you. And I will give you my opinion at the end, and I will tell you what I am going to do as well. All right, so because that is my objective, is to help you understand if this is a good IPO for you or not. Okay, so as I said, SpaceX is going to go public on June 12th. Okay, there are three distinct components of the SpaceX business, if you will. All right, and you need to know what those are. All right, SpaceX is not profitable on a GAAP level, but it is profitable on an EBITDA basis. Okay, so we now know, we have an official date, right? June 12th. They're going to raise $75 billion. This is going to be the largest stock initial public offering ever in the history of time, with a valuation between 1.8 and $2 trillion. Okay, that is insane as far as what it is. In fact, the day that it goes public, it is one of the largest companies. I think it's in the top 10 in the entire world. That's crazy. Okay, so here it is. The three really distinct parts of the business. There's the rocket business, probably arguably the most publicly visible rocket business there is. It is everywhere. It is pervasive. Yes, I know that Bezos has got his, but I would definitely venture to say, look, it is one of those things where SpaceX is the winner, as far as public persona, all that. And obviously, I think from a technology standpoint as well. Okay, so it has the Falcon rockets, the Starship, late stage development. Although it doesn't have a monopoly, there are other promising companies like Rocket Lab. There's a little side one there for you. You might want to look at Rocket Lab if you're say SpaceX is not really for you. It could be one that if you still want to get in on this, Rocket Lab is a way to do it. SpaceX is definitely the dominant player, with 80% of mass delivered to orbit going through SpaceX rockets. Think about that. That's the number I wish I had a minute ago. 80% of everything that has gone into orbit recently is via SpaceX rockets. Yeah. Okay. And again, for me, that's pretty significant, and that space is where we're going to go. So there's another component of the SpaceX business, and that is Starlink. It is profitable, highly profitable. It is the satellite internet business. Major airlines here in the United States, like American and Delta, have now formed deals with them. It is the fastest growing telecom business ever, growing revenue by more than 60% year over year, has a large addressable market opportunity, and more on that. Look, it is one of those things where that is an insane business in and of itself, and it's part of the SpaceX IPO. Okay, then there's the XAI, which SpaceX acquired earlier this year, which includes Grok AI tools and the X platform, so Twitter. So all of this is inside of the SpaceX IPO. So pretty significant, right? All right, so in 2025, SpaceX generated $18.6 billion in revenue. Even though the XAI acquisition occurred in 26, the 25 results were recast to reflect the combined business. SpaceX, on the bottom line, produced $4 billion net loss last year. And to be clear, it could take several years for the company as a whole to reach profitability. Okay, we would probably need to aggressively invest in the AI side of the business. SpaceX was quite profitable on an adjusted business, reporting $6.6 billion in adjusted EBITDA. Yeah, significant. How much money is SpaceX making or losing? Look, it's somewhere in between the two, right? The two numbers I just gave you. For example, about $6 billion of the net loss was depreciation and amortization. Okay, the company's assets, which isn't an actual cash expense, but then again, capital assets do wear it over time. Additionally, nearly $2 billion of the net loss was interest expense, which is a very real cost, but isn't reflected in the EBITDA, the earnings before interest and tax, depreciation, and amortization. Another big item was about $2 billion in stock-based compensation, which is backed out of adjusted EBITDA. Completely reasonable amount for a trillion-dollar company, but while it's not a cash charge, it does dilute shareholder value. So SpaceX market opportunity is what? SpaceX is saying it's a $28.5 trillion addressable market, and it's S1. That's the space business, 28.5 trillion. Not a bad little market, right? It does include the entire global broadband industry, satellite services, aerospace, and space economy. You can see. So there's a lot here. And that 28.5 is also talking about global broadband industry, i.e. Starlink, right? Okay. Satellite services and all that kind of stuff. Remember, Elon Musk said that the company would eventually put thousands of data centers in space. Think about that. Elon's going to get a cut of every single dollar for AI data centers that eventually will be built in space. And that number right now is forecasted to grow to 2030 for $5.3 trillion. It's about 700 billion right now as far as what's being spent on data center build out. So look, to buy or not buy, I go back. It's funny. I'm an old guy. I was there when Google IPO'd. I was there the day that the Google IPO went. I bought it. And I remember the day I bought that, I remember thinking like, oh my God, I'm buying this. Is this a mistake? It's going to go down immediately when I buy it. And I bought it and I did really well with it. And I've owned it since and things in different forms. Right. But I remember the whole time. I remember how it felt. And this feels very much like that. Google at the time when they IPO'd, they were groundbreaking, right? They were changing the game. They were doing something completely different. They were revolutionary. And I would venture to say that in their own right, SpaceX is doing this. And if you look at the combined business with SpaceX, the rocket business, Starlink, the satellite business, and then obviously XAI/Twitter, I mean, it's a significant business. Okay. I'm going to buy the IPO. I'm going to buy in. And, now I may buy a little bit on day one because historically, sometimes these IPOs, they come out, they go up, and then they go back down, right? You get things of that nature. I still think that there's significant opportunity here. I believe in Musk. I mean, let's call it what it is. Tesla was an extremely fantastic IPO. And if you look at if you'd bought it and held Tesla now, I saw somewhere that if you'd bought it's either $1,000 or $10,000 worth of Tesla. I want to say it's 10,000. It's worth $1 million now if you just bought and hold. Okay. And I think there's something here. Okay. And I'm going to buy it. So that's my opinion. I want to hear what's yours. I just like what I'm seeing. I'm not really paying attention to GAP, EBITDA, all that kind of stuff. I'm looking at it more from an opportunity standpoint. I'm looking at it more from the $28.5 trillion addressable business. I'm looking from Musk. Musk has a track record of pulling this stuff off. And SpaceX is 80% of the mass that's been delivered into space has come through SpaceX, right? I just think that they're well positioned to take advantage of all of it. Okay. So before I let you go, I want to share this with you. Look, I've got a trading indicator piece of software that can help you make more money trading stocks, period. How'd you like to have made 239% on Micron? Buy here, sell here, buy here. See these green boxes? That's a buy, sell, and a buy alert. And over a period of time, the software said buy there, sell there, 44 days, 132%. Profit, $1,000 bought would have made you $1,326 in profit. How much would that have changed your life? It had some additional cash. And then another 14 days, another 56% profit. That's Micron. All right, here's another one. Marvel Technology. Everybody's talking about these guys. Buy here. Look how far back this buy alert came in. 63 days ago, it said to buy it, and it's up 247%. $1,000 bought, $2,476. Yeah. Dell. Okay. Here's another one. Buy here, sell here. See the buy alert to the sell alert, 13 days, 95%. Okay. Want another one? All right. AMD, little company, right? Buy, sell, buy. So you see them, everything, all that aggregate from there to there. See this blue box, 63 days, 177%. The software tells you how and where to buy and how to be profitable trading stocks. If you're not using something like this, you should. Okay. And here's what the cool part is. I built this software, spent over $30,000 developing it, and I'm literally asking you for about $1.10 a day. That's what the software cost. There's a link in the description below. That's what it costs, straight up. No other cost, no nothing. $1.10 a day is what the software costs to use. You spend more than that on stuff that doesn't make you a penny. So why not try it? You have a 30-day, no questions asked, refund guarantee. I just gave you 4 examples, real-time examples of the software working for Dell, Micron, AMD, Marvel. I mean, some of the biggest brands you've ever seen that are in the AI tech space. And it works every single day. You can use the software anywhere in the world, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can have it. It runs on an iPhone, runs on Android. It runs on your computer. There's live coaching every single week in the members area. And you have a 30-day, no questions asked, money back refund guarantee. So why not give it a try? You have 0 risk here. Links are right down there. You'll find this page right here. Use that discount code at checkout. I'll see you. I'm going to buy the SpaceX IPO. Are you? Drop in the comments. See you.